Hey there, good afternoon to you. This is Angela with Parco's Permaculture. It's a very warm August afternoon, but I am working down in the chicken run today. Have a broody chicken who's given everybody a piece of her mind. So we have this rotational system where I have a paddock here, a second one here, and a third one here, and we rotate our chickens and ducks through that. And the chickens, while they're in these different areas of the garden, right now, obviously they're in this area and this back area here. I throw in all kinds of prunings and scraps from the garden and from the kitchen. And I also put down a really thick layer of mulch, and the chickens work through all of that. And what they do with that, they add their feathers and their manure, and through the mechanical process of pecking and scratching and then eating and digesting, they take all of this biomass and they turn it into really fluffy, rich, light compost. This was great the first 6 or 7 years. As I'm building topsoil, I have an area with almost no topsoil, and they have created tons and tons of rich humus. Well, the problem is now is that this layer in here in the orchard gets too thick. I have an excess, if there could be such a thing, of deep fluffy bedding, and especially because I'm going to come in the autumn and I'm going to add more wood chips and sow cover crops. So what do I do with it? Ideally, you would design your garden so that your chicken coop, mine is down here, or your duck house, mine is back behind this rose, are uphill. And that way you can easily rake finished compost and manure downhill into the garden and let gravity work for you. I didn't do that when I first designed this system, and I still would do it this way because of the way my yard works. So that means that I have to haul finished compost and finished manure uphill to get them into my garden beds. So it is a little bit more labor intensive than an ideal permaculture design. I got a question about what do I do with this excess material. So before I get ready to plant cover crops and throw down more wood chips, I bucket out or wheelbarrow out that finished material. And let me show you what it looks like because I'm using it this afternoon. This is my rain garden here. And what I do is I take the material, and it's really light and airy, and there might be some rocks in it. There might be some chicken feathers still in it, but it's fully composted. And I take this light material and I dress my beds with it. I do this late in the summer before I chop and drop in the fall. So what we have right now is, you can see here, I started doing it. I have pulled weeds and cut back plants a little bit, and I'm dressing with that nice, fluffy, nitrogen-rich organic material that the chickens and ducks have created for me. And then when these plants start to die back in fall, so I'll finish going in between the plants here, and it doesn't matter if I cover up some of the strawberries and clover, it's not so thick that they will die. So in the fall, I will be chopping and dropping all of these finished plants on top, and then adding some azomite and other trace rock minerals into these beds, and then I will be mulching with wood chips. So my first layer of dressing is this finished chicken manure and compost that they have made for me. And like I said, in an ideal permaculture system, you would have designed your chicken and duck houses at the top of your property so that you can use gravity, and it's much easier to rake the finished material downhill. But that's not going to work in every situation. So definitely, if you have to haul it uphill, make sure that you have designed your poultry run so that you can get a wheelbarrow in there. And it's just a ton of free, great organic matter, great fertilizer, feeds the soil microbiome. No work on my part other than hauling it up. The chickens, I haul the garden scraps and kitchen scraps down to the chickens. They do all of the work of scratching and pecking and digesting. And then I have to move it back up. So I don't have to have any financial output. And really, it's a pretty minimal physical output, just twice a year. But totally free, great source of light, loamy, rich material that's got a lot of nitrogen and good minerals in it. So I hope that answers y'all's question about what I do with all the excess production of fantastic biomass, fantastic fertilizer that my chickens and ducks make for me. Have not had to buy bagged compost or soil in a long time. My small urban flock does it all for me at no cost. Thanks.